Hi there, my name is Jenna. I'm a certified athletic therapist at Ontario Tech University. Today I'll be showing you how to set up an ergonomic workspace for those of you studying or working from home. I hope you enjoy. The first component we're going to look at is the chair. Not a bed, not a desk. It's important when we're sitting for long hours at a computer to be in a proper posture to prevent overuse injuries of the low back and the neck. We'll get into our device positioning in a little bit to continue with that theme. There's a few components to look at with the chair: the height, the back support, and the armrests. Not all chairs, as you can see, mine is not adjustable in height, nor does it have armrests, so we make do with what we have at home. There's a few ways we can get around different heights for people of different heights themselves. If you're shorter, you may have to put something under your feet so that you're sitting at a proper height. For example, when I sit down in the chair, I want my knees and my hips to both be bent at a 90-degree angle. Again, if you're on the short side, you might need to put a puzzle or a book under your feet to kind of lift up and you don't get pressure on the back of your legs. The other component is the lumbar support. So again, depending on the chair you're in, some may be soft, some may have the bars. Consider the angle further back or forward. If you need to put a cushion down below to support that lumbar support on your back, feel free. Again, try to avoid anything that's really slouchy and going to be putting you in a position that may put you at risk for injury. The third component, which my chair does not have, would be armrests. If we are using armrests, they should allow your elbow to rest at 90 degrees. They shouldn't lift your shoulder up, or you shouldn't be leaning down. That can put a curve in the spine or stress in the shoulder joint as well. Always thinking about your table surface as well. If you're sitting at a counter, then the chair would need to be significantly higher so that we're at that easy working space with our elbows here. Next, we're going to be looking at your work surface. So there are different zones that we classify for an ergonomic benefit. The primary working zone is anything you can reach within your span of your elbows here. That's your primary zone where your things that you use most often should be positioned, such as notebooks for taking notes. If you're more in a laptop heavy section, you may move your laptop into the primary zone. The secondary zone would be anything you can extend with your arms here. This is where we want to use our occasional use. So again, if you're just on your laptop to change screens, but then you're back to your notes, you'd have your notes in your primary, your laptop in your secondary. Things like water bottles, cell phones, any distractions should be more in your secondary or even further outside of your work zone. Things to keep out of your primary work zone, things like chargers, cables, things that may get in your way when you're actually working and being productive. For those of you working off laptops or with dual monitors, it's important to consider your accessory devices. So when you have your laptop set up, you don't want to be reaching and typing way out of your primary work zone like we discussed. Having an external keyboard can do that while having it in your primary zone, same with an external mouse. If this is not entirely possible for you, we can look at some alternative options to keep your laptop in your primary work zone. Other useful devices include things like laptop stands to get the monitor up to the appropriate height, which we'll go over in a little bit. If you don't have a laptop stand, no problem. Things that you can use: books, games, anything you can stack your laptop up to an appropriate height. We'll go over that more in the monitor section. When we're looking at our screens for a prolonged period of time, we want to ensure that our neck is in a healthy position, as well as our eyes aren't straining too much to look at the screens. In terms of our monitor placement, again, if you have an external monitor or you're using your laptop, it's a great idea to get the monitor up to about eye level. Maybe a little bit less, around 10 degrees, but you don't want to be craning your neck, otherwise these muscles are going to get tired and weak. That can be susceptible to neck strains or neck pain. Other things to consider is our monitor should be about an arm's length away, so that would be in our secondary work zone, so that we're not too close and damaging our eyes with all this external light. If you have those external devices here, perfect. Again, I've built up my laptop using games and books. If you do not have these external devices, of course, we don't want to be typing up in this position. So that's where we can take breaks by making sure that our laptop is now in our primary work zone and actually tilting the screen so you're not having to look down as far. Again, we're working with what we have in our own homes. Okay? Things to consider when typing: the position of the wrist so that you're not cranking up here or down here. That can lead to carpal tunnel very quickly. So again, everything should be 90 degrees at best and a nice neutral position through the wrist. Other components to consider about your workspace is the lighting. I have a nice overhead light above me to about a 45 degrees. Consider the angle you position yourself in terms to overhead lights. If I face forward directly onto that light, the light rays can bounce down and up into my eyes. At the 45 degree or even 90 degrees, it's less likely to bounce as much light into my eyes. Considering with your laptop glare, of course, that's a big component. Other things to consider would be natural light. That can help boost your mood if you have some natural light in your workspace. I know this isn't entirely possible in every household, as some of you may be in basements or darker rooms, but consider making sure you open yourself up to some natural light throughout the day by taking good study breaks. Thank you for taking the time to learn how to properly set up an ergonomic safe workspace from home. If you have any questions, I'll post the resource for everything that I've used in the video today. Happy studying!